There's a lot that I absolutely love about parks and visiting them, but sometimes those same things are also things that I hate about visiting them. I absolutely love theme parks, especially when they're done well. But every now and then I run into something that I love about a park, and then the way this one park does it just drives me nuts, and I kind of go, why? And so there are a few things that I love that actually end up turning almost into hates. This is three of my biggest ones. Number one, the rides. I absolutely love rides. There's very, very few I don't ride, and usually I'll still try them out first. It's hard for me to find a ride that I won't do, and usually if it's one I don't do, it's because I've done it already and it beat me up. Other than that, I ride everything, from the little kiddie rides to the family rides to the hugest thrill roller coasters. I don't pass anything up. But one of the things I really love is when a park has a huge variety of rides. When they're not all just one kind of thing, but you can do a bunch of different things. You can go to your big, huge thrill roller coasters. You can then ride with everybody on the family on the boat ride, the flume ride, the dark ride, the little spinner rides. You can ride with the little kids and the kiddie rides when there's a big variety of things so that everybody has things to do. Everybody has rights to ride. My wife, for example, can't ride a number of things because she has a bad neck injury that prevents her from doing things like roller coasters. So when we go to a theme park, I want to be able to see rides that she can ride. And if they don't have very much, it's going to get a big strike from me. A good example of this is Six Flags Magic Mountain. Six Flags Magic Mountain has the largest collection of roller coasters in the world. It has a fantastic collection of roller coasters. If you want to do anything besides roller coasters, there's very little there. There's less than 10 other adult rides. You've got a small little kids area, which is okay. And outside of that, there's almost nothing for somebody who doesn't do roller coasters. It's pitiful. It's a great park for coasters. It's a terrible park for riding anything else. You contrast that with Cedar Point. Cedar Point doesn't have quite as many coasters. Honestly, I like Magic Mountain's coasters just a little bit better, but Cedar Point makes up for it in the fact that they have so many other rides. There is so much else to do. In 2 days at Cedar Point, I didn't get to ride everything. There were still a couple rides I wanted to do, and I didn't get a chance to do them because there's so many different ones there. Cedar Point blows the stuffing out of Magic Mountain for that one reason alone. It's why I love to go to the Disney parks and Silver Dollar City and some of the others. Holiday World is a good example. There's just a big variety of different things for people to do. So anybody who goes to the park is going to have a good time because there's things for them to do. I love it when you've got a variety. I hate it when you don't. Number two, shows. I love shows. Shows are among my favorite things at the parks. It's one of the things I love about Silver Dollar City is that it's got great entertainment and shows that I go see multiple times because they're so good. Disney is the same way. They've got such a great variety of entertainment and it's all good. To find a stinker at either one, honestly, is very rare. They both take a lot of pride in their shows. Dollywood is the same way. I have seen a lot of great shows at a lot of different parks, including parks you may not necessarily think of for entertainment. I've seen good shows at Six Flags parks. I've seen good shows at Holiday World. And I know that there are a lot of other places that have great shows. I started to say Cedar Point, and I realized that the one show I saw there was kind of a stinker. But at the same time, it also wasn't a fair show to Cedar Point because there was another show I wanted to go see and didn't get a chance to that I heard was really good. I love when parks have a great variety of shows to go see, and especially if the ones they do have are well done. Even if a park only has a couple of shows, as long as they put the effort into it to make sure that they are well done shows, I'll enjoy it. A good example, Six Flags St. Louis. It doesn't have a big variety of shows. It typically has 2 or 3, maybe. But the ones that they did have were well done on my last couple visits. I enjoyed the saloon show. The theater itself was a little rinky-dink, but they played off of that very well, and The actors did a great job getting into their roles. It was a fun show. At the same time, I have seen shows at that same park that were horrible. And I go back to 2004 when we got to see their Merlin the Magician, who obviously had no desire and interest in being in the show, and the helpers didn't really care about the show, and everybody was going through the motions, and it was poorly written, and it just was terrible. We were actually kind of wishing we hadn't wasted our time on it. And if my son hadn't gotten pulled in, we probably would have left. If a park isn't willing to put the effort into making a show decent, I wish that they would just skip it. I love going to experience a lot of different things, but I hate when I go in and I just see a stinker that is like, the park didn't care about this show, they just stuck it there for the sake of having a show. Waste of time, waste of money, waste of effort, and the poor people stuck in that show. I have seen some people put some huge efforts into shows that weren't so good, and I appreciate that. I still get entertained when the people performing are still trying to put everything out there and do what they can with a not great show. But when you see even the people performing in it aren't into it, yeah, just ditch the whole show format entirely. I love when a park has shows, but if they're going to be just horrible, I would rather they didn't have any. That's kind of a hard thing, as much as I love entertainment. But when you have another park like Silver Dollar City or Dollywood or Disney that you can go to and never ride a thing, but you can just do shows and spend all day and see great quality shows and have a great time, well, now you know they're doing entertainment right, and I love that. Yes, there are times I've been to Silver Dollar City and Disney just to do shows and nothing else, and had an awesome time. So 2 things I love: a variety of rides, good entertainment. The third one, theming. I love theming, especially when it is done right. And when the whole park is wrapped up in this theme, it's amazing. Silver Dollar City with its 1880s Ozark theme is a fantastic theme. I love Magic Kingdom and Disneyland with their variety of lands, and it's just fantastic. Six Flags Over Texas with the 6 lands that represent the 6 flags that flew over it. So Mexico and France. The theming was great, and it's still there, at least somewhat. Plus they now have the DC area. When theming is done well, it's fantastic. And I love being able to immerse myself in it. When it's not, it drives me nuts. I would rather go to a park with no theming at all, such as Knoebels Grove, than a park that calls itself a theme park and just kind of splashed something on then and ignored it, or messed up with what was there. Let me give you some examples of things I hate about theming. Theming done wrong. When it doesn't fit into the area around it. When it sticks out like a sore thumb. It's like, what is this? An example is Fireman's Landing at Silver Dollar City. You've got this wonderful 1880s Ozarks, Old West, and then you've got this area that looks semi-modern. They've tried to tie it in and fit it, but really it doesn't fit the park theme that well. It's almost kind of like its own little area in the park, and it's just not quite working. I love what they tried to do with it. It's not there. Another good example, Guardians of the Galaxy at Epcot. Sorry, no, completely misses the point of the park. Which actually brings me to my other thing, is when they completely forget the point of theming in a park. Disney, in particular, is guilty of this. Epcot is a great example. You've got the Eternal World's Fair with the World Showcase pavilions, and then the other pavilions around it, and they've completely forgotten the point and focus of the park. They're remodeling. They obviously had no clue what they were doing. There was no focus. There was no idea of what this park was supposed to be. The way that they're redoing a couple of the pavilions with the Guardians of the Galaxy and then the Old Wonders of Life, we don't know. And, oh, hey, let's put a beer pavilion in the middle of it. That may be off thanks to coronavirus, and that's not a bad thing. Poor Future World and Epcot has no clue what it is anymore. And the people that are guiding it, they don't have any clue either. You want to see a theme park done wrong that's completely forgotten its focus? Disney's Hollywood Studios is a great example. It used to be classic Hollywood and the wonder of making movies. And now, what is the focus of the park? Let's see. Classic Hollywood. There's a couple old movie things. I don't know where Mickey and Minnie's Railroad fits in. Great ride. I don't know what the theme for the park is. Star Wars. How does that relate to classic Hollywood? I don't know. Oh, and then Toy Story Land. I don't get it. They're great areas, but they don't go together in any way at all. It makes no sense. What used to be an awesome park about movies and movie making magic and Hollywood, it's got no clue what it is anymore. And the people in charge, they don't know either. Star Wars fits much better at Disneyland, where you've got these fantasy realms and it can build off of that. It got no clue what it is in Florida. I also hate when a park used to have a great theme and it's become ignored and bypassed. Cedar Fair, this is where you're really guilty. Worlds of Fun is a good example. It used to be based on Around the World in 80 Days and had all these great regions and beautiful theming in the park, and Cedar Fair has completely ignored all of it. Most of it's actually just gone. But there's a few areas you can still see it, like the Orient area, which still is really pretty, until you realize that right next to it is the Patriot roller coaster. So wait, I'm in the Orient, and here's the Patriot. What? It makes no sense. It's just completely ignored. It's better than what they've done to California's Great America. California's Great America, when it opened as Marriott's, was a wonderful theme park. Each area in it had a distinct theme, and everything flowed into that theme, even the music. That's another peeve, but that's another video. It all worked wonderfully. When Paramount came in, they preserved those themes for the most part. It was still kind of weird walking around the Yukon Territory and seeing a Ferengi, but outside of the Star Trek stuff, you could still basically see the themes in the park. And then Cedar Fair came, and every little idea of theming is now basically ignored. You can occasionally see an old building, but they've removed so much of the theme. It's no longer a theme park. It's an amusement park with remnants of what used to be there, and it's really sad. I mean, terribly sad. You look at the carousel, and it's a beautiful carousel, but it doesn't lead to anything that's about Great America anymore. That used to be the theme of the park, Great America. Now it's more like Great Hodgepodge of whatchamacallits. You want me to get upset at you over theming? That's a good way to do it. But then when you do theming right, oh my goodness, it's wonderful. You can escape everything, and even if it's a simple theme, such as the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Yes, in my mind, I consider the beachside amusement park right on the water. There is a kitschy theme to the whole thing that kind of harkens back to like the 50s and 60s. And I love that feel about it. It doesn't feel like a modern park. It feels like a throwback. That's the theme in action. And they haven't forgotten their roots. So those are 3 things that I love and hate about parks. I'd love to know your ideas as well. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? What's your feedback? Leave it in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like and share as well. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you as well to my patrons and members for their financial support. If you want to know more about merchandise, fan pages, and the support, be sure to check the description below. There's all sorts of information there. Thank you so much for watching. God bless. The original Six Flags Over Texas, where you've got the 6 different regions in it, the 6 representing... Okay.